governance crisis, development dilemma, and security challenges in Nigeria. The root of the crisis are traced to a deep alienation in all areas of life in Nigeria. In terms of the clothes we wear, the food we eat, the language we speak, our style of life, we are all alienated as a bit. And that also informs our curriculum that was introduced by the British government. The curriculum did not pay attention to our cultural and traditional values that put priority on human dignity and dignity of labor. And that is why in university we are training students to seek for white-collar jobs instead of training them to think on how to use resources within their jurisdiction to solve problems and secure employment for themselves. Now, also on the part of government, our government depends on Nigeria for development countries in all areas of life. If there's an issue to be examined, before we start off with educate, we travel around the world. And they come up with fine paper. When you read the cases, it's wonderful. But all these strategies and development paradigms, they are indebted to Nigerian realities because our cultural factors are not factored into the design of this paradigm. And that leads us to what we call the problem of parallelism and lack of synergy. Now, no two parallel lines are ever made. Nigerian government, they operate on parallel lines. Nigerian scholar or another parallel line. Then the people, another parallel line. That is the problem. And the essence of this paper is to bring these three strategic stakeholders together to work together as human beings in the same environment. However, several studies also have confirmed that inability of government to solve problems that are actually affecting people has provoked the people to look inward and enact principles from their tradition and culture on how to solve problems. For instance, before the inclusion of colonialism, and even up to now, people in diverse culture in Nigeria, there is what we call collective action. People coming together to think on how to solve their own problems using locally available resources. And as a matter of fact, in 1986, during Babangida regime, when the economy was in crisis, world-renowned economists were brought to analyze Nigerian economy, and they concluded that Nigerian economy was supposed to have collapsed. But the economy did not collapse. What was sustaining the economy at that time is people's creativity and adaptation strategy at community level and at grassroots level. People form cooperatives, people use financial rotation, one way or another to survive. Occupational assistance, these are the things that are inherent in Nigerian culture, which Nigeria of Vijayadom is not captured in their development paradigm. Theoretical underpinning, collective action and peacekeeping. The theory of collective action suggests that people that have lived their life together under successive generations, they are the ones that understand their environment and they can use rules and regulations to solve problems instead of somebody from Washington or somebody from London. And just a summary. Summarily, the IAD and knowledge management and political economy approach emphasize the individuals, especially how resources are utilized by government to help the living standard of the people. Yes. Development potentials in Nigeria are so many. Tree and food crops, livestock, fishery, rapid potentials, innovation potentials, and knowledge generation, as I've said. For instance, the summary of the work so that agricultural engineers in Nigeria they were able to carry out machines that can work in 1 hour to save 20 work days by farmers. That is what we take an average farmer, 20 working days, we take the machine just 1 hour. That is for Nigerian scholars in agriculture, and the same thing in food preservation. And at the same time, at the local level, because according to Fisher culture, he said that education and creativity and development is not be limited to the 4 walls of university. Local people, artisans, craftsmen, blacksmiths, auto repairers, they also possess knowledge capability that they are using to solve problems. These are the things that we need to bring together, not to rely on the formal education alone. For instance, local people, they are transforming indigenous knowledge inherited from their parents to perform present-day industrial reality. That is found in Shaki, Okego area of Nigeria. And also, these are also replicated in other areas of Nigeria. The structure that will find your grant to be captured by NITP and corporate for foundation for solving problems. Next. Now, I believe of standing personal. Let me say something that I did personally on this problem-solving scholarship. Because of the need to solve problems as planners, engage in adaptive education. For instance, in November 2004, I started with fishery, practically to see how one can make profit. Cultivation of yam, maize, cassava in March 2005. Rabbit in October 2005. Goat in January 2006. YA cockerel in November 2006. Plantain cultivation in August 2007. For instance, experiment on rabbit actually baffled me. In October 2005, I bought 3 rabbits from our conventional farm from our university. Then I was at that university. 2 females, 1 male. You know, within 3 months, they increased to 22 in number. Using simple arithmetic projection, I discovered that 3 rabbits within 1 year will give us 308 rabbits. And rabbit is white meat, not cholesterol, which has cost a lot of money. The thinking is that these graduates can be enlightened on this type of idea. When they get out, the matter of just get few rabbits and begin entrepreneurial activity. So now, I did not stop there. Part of it, there was a day I was speaking from MS students, showing them some of them. Some of them said that, okay, this person is a local government chairman. Why don't we take this idea to local government and practice practically? That was wonderful. 2005, we went to the community, which is called a record room, local government in Osun State. Next. What the record room experiment is this. It got out 16 associations that are not governmental, like market women, photographer, Okada riders, food sellers, that we all have in our community. These are interest groups and associations. Brought them together for cooperation. They are the one that will own the investment in that particular community. They will buy share, just as we normally buy share in all these big companies. So that when they are part of the owner of that particular project, they will support it and it will be sustainable. Also, it was also decided that workers in the industry to be encouraged to buy share. When they have share in that particular company, they will not allow you to collapse because they have something at stake. That was the thinking of that particular project. Next. Now, the Associate government was highly impressed when they had a vaccine. Then they set up under competitive via official and then the government got the idea at that time, but because of the political crisis and as lecturer and my colleagues as lecturer, we didn't have what they call Ayeta in Yoruba language. You know, there is last thing we call bulletproof. And you know, where politicians are going, they have several things under their agenda. So, and as lecturers, you should not follow them because they want to use the idea to campaign. You follow them and the opponent is sitting lo and behold. So I decided to stop the project, and where I stopped, I started to popularize the idea in my publication. And from feedback, it was wonderful. For instance, it was this idea that the Development Bank of Africa saw. October 2007, they called me, and they said, they discovered that all planning models in Africa have failed. Can we generate locality? And I said, yes. So we signed a contract. I spent about 3 months in developing the idea, review planning models across the globe and in Africa, and also come out with models and strategies that can help Africa to move forward. That was where I started designing models. I designed 8 models for the Development Bank of South Africa. They reviewed the paper for 87 pages. And he said I should review the site. And also I should inform Nepal and African Union on implementation. Those are the 2 comments. When I got that, I was highly impressed. Then I started developing. Now I have 29 models already developed and published. And the 30th one is already to be delivered from the womb, industrial womb. Now, these potential that we have enumerated, natural and human resources, confirm that Nigeria possesses different capabilities to solve problems within our own geographical division instead of going abroad. It is not enough to learn from abroad. It is more important to build our own development strategy from inside. Now, resolving governance, resolving security challenges, polycentric development planning is the process of conceptualizing, initiating, executing, and monitoring people-centered, community-oriented projects and development through synergetic interaction of strategic stakeholders, scholars, university and polytechnic, professional body, NITP, government, industry, and the people at the community level. That is what that particular model is talking about. Polycentric development planning model is a multidisciplinary and stage-wise proper development process that embraces several models such as African development regional mechanism, Africa public structural structuring model, Africa polycentric security model, Africa public prevention peace building model. Next. Now this is the diagram. From this diagram you can see the strategic stakeholder, and at the center you have what we call Nigerian Development Framework, NDPB, which is adapted from African Development Frameworks. For the process development planning to be effective, Nigerian Development Framework will be housed in what we describe as Nigerian Innovation Center. Next. You see that on figure 1 and 2. Next. Now, this is the second figure illustrating the mechanism of Nigerian Development Frameworks inside Nigeria Innovation Center in taking theories and knowledge to the street in Nigeria. As I've said, corporate with NITP can spearhead this with Nigerian University and Polytechnic. Thank you. And engage what we call in-house demonstration of idea first. Then they move to experimental station. From experimental station, they go to pilot project at community level. Then this is pass through cybernetics. Cybernetics is human control function, like what we call hypothalamus. You see, hypothalamus is what helps human being to quickly regain balance anytime they want to fall. It's part of human brain. So that is why we have cybernetics. One, when you bring it out, you review it. If it's not functioning properly, you go back to the University and Polytechnic and to the Innovation Center, second or the third level. At that stage, some of the weaknesses and a shortcoming of the model or the project must have been removed. And once the project is working, other people also will emulate it. Next. Also, it is suggested here that NITP corporate can develop a proposal to the federal government of Nigeria towards the establishment of what we call knowledge management in Nigeria as an agency serving with the responsibility of taking theories to Nigerian cities. That's knowledge application to the institution. Now, knowledge management Nigeria is patterned after knowledge management Africa, established by the Federal South Africa in 2005. Over the years, several decades ago, we have what we call knowledge management Globe, knowledge management Asia, and that enabled their technocrats and bureaucrats to decode whatever the center has done and put it to practice. But in Africa, it is a gap. Scholars, they are fighting against government, and scholars don't have resources. Government have resources, they are fighting against their scholars. They say you are not relevant. The other one said that your policy does not have human faith. It's working with his head on the street and all the rest. They are fighting. So the essence of this paper is that corporate and NITP to develop this idea to establish what we call knowledge management in Nigeria. And as a matter of fact, pursued this particular idea to the level of central to NUC, and there were people regulated to schools. And this arrangement, we enable corporate and NITP to take a lot of money as practice in Europe, Asia, America, thus making NITP a place setter in knowledge management economy in Nigeria. The challenge on corporate is that, well, because of time, you are all aware of what Robert Owen did and it is a whole next. They make sure that they allow their workers to be paid higher wages, better housing, and also a system of education that enlightens everybody in their program. Yes, now move forward. Now, this is Nigerian Development Institutional Mechanism. Is just also moving forward on how to synergize the efforts of the scholars, the public officials, the implementation, move forward. Next. Now, the Nigerian public sphere is suffering mechanism.